What's good, everybody? We're back with another episode of Ask FP. I am Brian Mazik, aka Franchise Play, and got a nice amount of questions to jump into. I actually had to trim some off, so I just want to throw you guys out just a tip, so to speak. When you ask the questions for Ask FP, try to make them as specific as possible. Sometimes the wide-ranging questions are hard for me to take on because in order for me to actually answer the question, I'm going to have to more or less, it's going to take me a good minute, 15 seconds to answer the question. So you want to make it as specific as possible so I can hit it, go. You know what I'm saying? So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the questions. First off, we got Gerard Durheim coming through saying, final question for this week. Who would you want Chicago Bulls draft to draft? Tyus, do you want I guess you didn't want them to draft Tyus Jones to back up D Rose. I don't really like Tyus Jones as a prospect. There's a couple other point guards that I do like, so I do think they should get a point guard. And a question along those lines is coming a little bit later on. But Tyus Jones would not be my personal choice to back up D Rose. Nightwing says, when will you start to make 3 NBA draft prospect videos again? I already did, but I did make a change. So I put out an important draft class update a day ago or so. And I basically said that, essentially what I was going to start doing is I'm just going to go ahead and finish out this draft class. No more draft updates. The views were really low. So it got me to talking about whether or not I should cancel series if the views are consistently low, because obviously it's saying a lot of people aren't interested. So, but to answer your question, it's just going to be the next video you're going to see on draft class is saying that it's over, it's done, or I finished it. So I will still tweet some images out here and there though. Danny Rhodes says, I don't know when the next AFP is. It's today. But if MLB The Show added a storyline to Road to the Show like 2K, would it take the game over the top? I think that's very much needed. They really need to incorporate that in Road to the Show, because Road to the Show, as gotten to this point, was pretty dead. So they really need to add that in. I anticipate it's something that's going to be coming sometime shortly. But yes, I agree that they need to do that. Solomon says, do you think that Scott Skiles would be a good choice for the Orlando Magic? I think Scott Skiles is very much like Tom Thibodeau in that he's going to get a team to overachieve in the regular season. He's going to work them really hard. But I don't think he or Tom Thibodeau have what it takes from a mental and communication standpoint to be a championship head coach. You gotta have a certain amount of people skills to do it, and I don't think those guys have it. Justin says, when Jey Uso comes back, when do you think that the Usos will win back the tag team titles? I think it'll probably happen at some point, but what I think they're going to ultimately probably end up doing is the Usos are going to be at each other. It's going to be Jimmy versus Jay, and they're going to have to do something to change their attires or something to that effect so that people will be able to instantly know exactly who it is, which one the other ones are, because I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of people who don't really know the Usos just off sight, just they can't tell them all apart. So I can see that happening. Next up, we got Emilson Jorge saying, which should I get, the Adidas NXT Level Speed 3 or KD 7? See, so I'm kind of skeptical about the KDs because, KD got hurt. I think everybody's foot is different, to be honest. There's some shoes that work really great for some people, and some got shoes, because of the way your foot is made, it's going to constantly give you an issue. So I think you got to, I hate doing this myself, but when you go to the shoe store, you got to try a shoe on. You got to walk around and say, all right, I'm going to ball in this shoe. Is this shoe going to hurt my feet after a few times up and down the floor? So that's what you really got to do. Emilson also says, how long of a rebuild do you think the Lakers need to come back as a title contender? It depends. A lot of it depends on free agency. If they do end up, taking Karl Anthony Towns with the number 2 pick, because I still kind of think Jahlil Okafor is going to go number 1. I've been sticking with that. If they take him number 2, then that helps. You know, you got a nice front court with him and Julius Randle, but it's going to come down to free agency. Who can they pry away from somebody? They're going to go after Jimmy Butler. The Bulls are probably going to match, but they're going to go after him. They may go after a few other guys. You never know. So we'll see. Emilson says, Russell Westbrook or Derrick Rose? Head up. Which one? Derrick Rose is my favorite player in the NBA. He is. But if I was just going off the top, just trying to pick who's the best player right now, I'd have to say Russell Westbrook. I mean, Russell has, he's a monster. He's an absolute monster. I mean, not the smartest player, not the purest point guard, but he's just a freak, really. Emilson again says, Ndamukong Suh, does he have what it takes to be the best defensive tackle ever? Best ever? That's hard to say. You know, I'm not even sure he's the best defensive tackle in the NFL right now. So the best ever, I don't know. I mean, he's definitely a very good player, but I don't know if I can go much further than that. Emilson Jorge again. He is back. EJ all day. EJ all day. That's your new nickname, Emilson. EJ all day. He says, is Drew Brees a top 10 all-time quarterback? I would have to say probably not. I mean, I would say he's probably in the conversation, but I could think of a few guys. You know, you got Montana, Marino, Elway, Brady, Peyton Manning. I'm sure some more people that I can, if I really give a chance to. Steve Young, I'd put ahead of him. So I don't know. I don't think so. Hunter says, Yo, FP, do you plan on doing a My GM series? Also, how do you think Rooks would work on carryover saves if 2K had that? I do want to do a My GM series, and that's what I plan to do once I finish this draft class up, but I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do that. May end up being, originally I thought I was going to do a My GM series with the real rosters and do a My League with the legends, but I think I might end up doing that the other way around. The carryover saves, I think that will work the same way it works for MLB The Show. I mean, you got rookies and the real rookies that come in MLB The Show, so I think it will work the same way. And I don't know, for me personally, I'd still love it. Just let me keep creating draft classes if I want to, however I want to do it. He says, also, can I interview you for my Tumblr blog? It would be awesome because I love your work. I appreciate that, dog. And yeah, shoot your boy a message. Shoot me a message. I'll shoot you a follow. You want to set up an interview? I'd be happy to do it. I appreciate the love and all that. Connor Macy, I'm sorry. Let me know which one it is. Do you play Call of Duty games? If so, are you planning on getting Black Ops 3? I used to play Call of Duty all the time. I do it a little bit here and there now. But to be honest, Call of Duty is one of those games that if you don't play it like a maniac, when you get online, it's almost not going to be even any fun for you. You got people who play it so often, you can't be a casual player and play online, not have any success. So since I'm never going to like it as much as I do sports games, it's kind of putting me off it a little bit. I don't know. Solomon says, what is LeBron's greatest accomplishment so far? 5 straight finals, carrying the 2007 Cavs, or something else? In my opinion, LeBron's number one accomplishment is living up to what was ridiculous expectations from the very beginning. There has never been an athlete in any sport that was as hyped as LeBron and who lived up to the hype. I mean, from the time he was a sophomore, he was on the cover of Sports Illustrated being called the Chosen One. And he has ascended to become the best player in the world right now. I mean, that's a significant accomplishment. Davs106 says, do the Bulls managers have a problem with coaches and players getting more praise than them? They got rid of Phil, MJ, now Tibbs. I don't think. I think all of those situations are different. You know, I think the Phil thing was probably not smart, but Tibbs, to me, it was time for him to go. I really do think so. So I don't think it's so much that, but I do think you do have to keep, hey, who's in charge here? You know? Cam Worthy says, do you think that the Lil B curse really affect the Rockets, and should Harden have apologized to Lil B? No. I am so tired of Lil B. I mean, I really am. I mean, I don't believe in curses and all that. I don't even get into that. That's just, I believe in Jesus. So I don't get into all of that kind of stuff. Connor Massey says, do you like watching college sports or major league sports better? I actually like them both. Some people say, oh, I like college better than major leagues because, you know, it's got more emotion, it's more pure. I like them both for all different types of reasons. College is just awesome because the guys are so imperfect. You know, you never know. A kid will just not play well, and so it's a different type of a feel there. But I really love professional sports too, so I don't prefer one over the other. King Kunta says, do you consider yourself somewhat of a sports analyst, and what sport do you have the most knowledge in? I would say I am. I would say my sports that I'm most knowledgeable about are boxing and basketball. Those are the sports I know the most about. I can go on forever with anybody. I can have a conversation with anybody. I don't think there's anybody, and I'm not bragging or anything, but I don't think there's anybody out there in the world who I wouldn't be able to conduct an intelligent conversation with about boxing and basketball. I'm pretty decent in other sports, but those two sports I really know those pretty well. So that's what I'd say. Blair Sheed says, why do you think DeLon Wright is a good fit for Chicago? So I appreciate you first and foremost, Blair, because that proves to me that you read my mock drafts or whatever and read my work outside of YouTube. So I appreciate that because I wrote that in the mock that I thought DeLon Wright was the best fit. I think that he, from a size standpoint, he's 6'5", 175 pounds, has a really good feel for the game. And defensively, he locks down. I think he's a perfect option for the Bulls as a backup to Derrick Rose. Derrick plays about 60 games. He can back him up without an issue, but he's also big enough to play on the floor with Derrick in case you want to go small and put Jimmy at the 3. That's my show. That's my take on it. Joshua Paramore says, is it me or are the Royals more cocky since they went to the World Series? Every highlight is a fight. Go Detroit Tigers. I do think they're playing with a chip on their shoulder. Absolutely. Guys like Yordano Ventura are definitely, but he just kind of got that Pedro Martinez kind of edge to him. A lot of those hard-throwing guys that are smaller in frame kind of have that type of an attitude. So it doesn't shock me, and you know, they are the Royals, and people don't respect them. But I do think they might be taking it a little bit too far. Jose Bejarano says, do you think we'll be able to create a player with a face scan option for all creative player modes in NBA 2K16? Not really, no. Will they let you use face scan to create a regular player? Maybe. But if you think about it, how many different people are you going to have access to their face to scan for, like, if you're making like a custom roster? I think what would be more effective is if they also let you use like a picture or an image the way EA used to have. That would be even better to me personally. So you're not going to be able to like get Charles Barkley to come into your crib and do a face scan so you can get him, you know. Connor Massey says, who do you think wins the Stanley Cup and in how many games? What? Blackhawks, baby. I actually do think that beyond the fandom, Chicago fandom, I got Blackhawks in 6. I just think defensively, I think they're more solid. I think you're going to see some high-scoring games. Stamkos and I think the Lightning are going to put some goals on the board, but I think defensively the Hawks are better. Connor Massey says, would you ever consider playing a bowling game for your Throwback Thursday series? Man, I would. You know I would, man. I played, what did I play? Yeti Sports? Absolutely, I'll play a bowling game for Throwback Thursday. Any sport. I don't care if it's professional dog tossing, which is not a good sport. Don't do that. Don't throw your dog. That's not good. Whatever it is, I'll play it. Matt Price, my boy, says, do you think that the NFL will ever do guaranteed contracts, or is the game too physical for that? I actually don't think they'll ever do guaranteed contracts. Why would they? That's the whole point. Should they? Yes, because it would be fair. But I understand from a business standpoint why they don't. It's up to people to decide, is this a sport I want to play, knowing that I could tear it up and I'm done and they're not going to give me my money beyond whatever the signing bonus was. Matt Price also says, thoughts on the WWE Attitude Era book, and would you let your son watch old Raws and SmackDowns from that era? Matt Price, I'm going to tell you guys, I love everybody's questioning, but consistently Matt Price has some extremely compelling and specific questions. Love him. The WWE Attitude book is awesome. I just actually spoke to the author today, John Robinson, and I really like it. It's very in-depth, and you can tell it's from a hardcore wrestling fan. Now, would I let my son watch old Raws and SmackDowns? I don't, and I would not, because a lot of people want to go away from the PG era, and I understand what they're talking about, what they want to see. But to be quite honest, if we went away from the PG era, to be honest, some of the stuff that's on wrestling right now, I really don't like for him to see. But if we went back to bras and panty matches and all that kind of stuff, no, he's not watching it. He's not. So I guess I'm up, but he wouldn't be watching it. Matt Price says, how many years until Barry Bonds makes it to the Hall of Fame? Man, I don't know if he ever will. To be totally honest, I don't know. I think he should be there, but I really don't know if he ever will make it. Baseball is a very stubborn and honorary sport, and they hold a grudge, man. So you never know what'll happen. And holding a grudge over something the guy never actually got convicted of is kind of weird too. But whatever. Matt Price says, what happens first? LA gets an NFL team or Seattle gets an NBA team? LA gets an NFL team, I think, first. The pool in Seattle is big. If you look at dollars and cents, what's going to make which league the most money? A team in Seattle or a team in NFL team in LA? I think that's an easy answer for that. CJ Watson says, can you pre-order NBA 2K16 digitally? You know what, CJ? I'm about 99.9% sure you can. I can't imagine why you wouldn't be able to, but I could be wrong. I really think you can, though. I would be shocked if you couldn't. It would probably blow me away if you couldn't. I pretty much think you could. Brandon K says 67 wins, 67 win coaches, MVP, a finals appearance. If Golden State wins the finals, did Kerr have the greatest rookie coaching season ever? Without a question, he did. Arguably, he already has. He already made the finals, and you coached the MVP. You could have very well won Coach of the Year. Without a question, if they win, it's the greatest rookie coaching season ever. Tyler Knowles says, who are you picking for the finals, and how many games do you think it will go? And I'm almost positive he's talking about the NBA. So in the NBA, honestly, to be honest with you guys, I got the Cavs in 6. I do. I just think that we can go matchup for matchup, right? We go, Curry, Irving. No, who gets that? Shooting guard. Oh, well, sounds like Golden State gets that. We can do that, right? But once we get to small forward, it is hard to quantify the impact that LeBron has. It's bigger than, LeBron wins the matchup over Harrison Barnes. It's bigger than that. So I think that from an impact standpoint, I think Cleveland has totally bought into playing as his supporting cast, and it makes them extremely dangerous. And I just don't think Golden State has an answer for the impact he has on the game. Devin Martinez says, do you think that Tom Thibodeau could sign with the Timberwolves? That's an interesting option. It is, because obviously they have a nice young nucleus. He would be reunited with Kevin Garnett for a short period of time. But Flip Saunders would have to agree to go back up into the front office. I think Garnett would embrace it. And I think the Minnesota Timberwolves would be a pretty decent team. But I think Ricky Rubio would hate Tom Thibodeau with a passion. So, I don't know. That's an interesting thought, though. But I appreciate you watching. I appreciate all of you guys. God bless. Peace.